Hey everyone, Dr. Russ of Man of Golf Performance, where we use our medical and performance training backgrounds to help golfers improve their body to play without limitations. We're launching season 2 of our podcast. In episode 1, we talk about 3 main things that all golfers need to do to improve their body, but also to make sure that they know what their body is doing so that they can play their best golf. So make sure you check into this podcast. Make sure you stay tuned for more podcasts in the future so we can help you play without limitations. All right, welcome back to the now rebranded Man of Golf Performance Podcast, formerly known as the Pain Free Golf Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Doc Russ. I'm a licensed physical therapist and strength coach based out of Rochester, New York. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about why we rebranded this podcast to the Man of Golf Performance Podcast. If you're new to the show, thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the content moving forward. Make sure we love feedback. And so if you want to leave some feedback for us as to what you were looking for, we'd love to kind of hear that so we can kind of bring that to the show. If you're a repeat listener, welcome back. We're so glad you're back. Thanks for tuning in, and we're looking forward to kind of talking to you guys more about golf and performance and how we can have your body play without limitations. And so the reason why we rebranded this the Man of Golf Performance Podcast is we feel that our Man of brand is our promise. It's our promise to help golfers realize and maximize their potential on and off the golf course, but also keeping their health and their body the priority. So many times golfers come to us in pain or struggling with discomfort, and they don't know where to go. Right. And so we want to make sure that under this now revamped and rebranded podcast, we're providing you a promise to show you that you can use your body to your advantage and you can use it to leverage your performance on the golf course. Right. Because again, our goal is we want to use our background to help you play golf without limitations. And so we want to cover a couple things here on the podcast. And I think these are things that we'll talk to you about till we're blue in the face. But I think they're really important because unfortunately, the conversation that we have with a lot of the golfers that we work with, either in person or remotely or virtually, is that they're still not utilizing their body as a tool or a source or a resource for improving their golf game. They still want the next best clubs or irons or drivers. They want the next best ball that helps improve launch or low spin, or they want the next swing training aid that's going to help them fix their swing flaws. And while that is all important and can be part of the process, I think I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. And if you've heard these podcasts before, you know I always kind of talk about this, is that your body is the best investment that you can make in your golf game. If you don't invest in your body, then sometimes your body might not do what you want it to do. And then it's going to leave you frustrated. It's going to leave you maybe a little bit more looking for more answers. Maybe you go to YouTube, you go to Instagram and find all these different tips and drills that may or may not be specific to you. And it doesn't translate to when you're on the golf course. So, again, I think the important part is we want to make sure that we know what your body can and can't do. And if we're not assessing that first, then maybe we're barking up the wrong tree. So what I want to talk about today on the podcast are 3 main points that we go through with all of our golfers to give them more of a holistic approach and a 30,000 square foot view of what their golf game is currently, and how can we funnel it down to make things very, very specific and structured and individualized to them. So the first thing that we look at when it comes to the golfer is, what are they doing, right? So sometimes we'll use very, very simple videos from a phone, right? Down the line and then face on. What does their swing look like? How are they swinging? Are there certain swing tendencies, swing flaws that we see that could be contributing to why they're struggling with their golf game? Are they blocking? Are they casting? Are they sliding or swaying, which is creating more lateral motion than rotary motion, which is making them inconsistent with ball striking? And ultimately, too, if we have it available to us, we'll use 3D motion capture. We want to get an idea as to where are they rotating from, where is their speed coming from, is their sequence proper, right? Is there a hip clearing first, which is then allowing the torso and then the shoulders and then the club to be delivered to the ball properly? If that sequence is off, then it's going to throw everything off, which is why we might see some of the swing flaws that we see on some of those videos. Secondly, we want to know, how are you doing things? Okay. Where is your force coming from? Where is the pressure in your feet coming from? Where is your power coming from? And those are all assessments that we look at. Sometimes we look at force plates. Sometimes we look at, where are you utilizing the ground? Are you using the ground to your ability to kind of create better club head speed? And where's your power coming from? Is it coming from your epicenter, which is your core? Is it coming from your upper body? Are you able to work on rotary power and generate power the way we want you to, so that it can be delivered to your golf swing and to the ball when you actually deliver the club to the ball, right? So we want to know where that pressure and how you're doing it. If we don't know how you're doing it, then we can give you all these different tips and drills, but it might not translate to your actual swing. And then lastly, third, why might you do it a certain way, right? And this is the physical screen. This is our bread and butter. This is something that we do first and foremost with all of our golfers, right? So if we're working in person or virtually with people, we want to know why you're doing something. We understand the body really, really well, right? And there are certain anatomical variations, there's some certain limitations. Maybe you've had surgery, maybe you have certain things that are actual limitations. And if you try and kind of work through those, that actually might make your game that might be a little bit more of a detriment to your game than an actual advantage, right? So, yes, we want to swing like Rory McIlroy. Yes, we want to swing like Dustin Johnson, Tiger Woods. But if your body physically can't do that, then it's actually going to make your golf game potentially worse. And that's not something we want. So we want to know, why might you do it a certain way? Why do you slide or sway, right? Why do you cast or scoop? Okay, why do you chicken wing? Why do you do some of these swing flaws? And that's where the physical screen comes in. If we know that your hip has limitations in range of motion, or if you've had a hip surgery that ultimately won't let you get into a certain position, then we need to figure out how we can modify your swing around that, okay? We don't want to just kind of beat our head against the wall and hope that, hey, we want you to do this, but if your body can't do it, what's the point in actually trying to work on that? So the physical assessment becomes really, really important. Certain things that we see, let's say, for instance, people want a bigger backswing. They want more shoulder turn so that they can create more time to create club head speed on the way down. Well, if your upper back can't do that, or if your thoracic spine can't rotate properly, maybe that's why you can't create a bigger backswing. And then what that potentially could do is, if you can't create a bigger backswing and your upper back can't turn properly, then maybe that creates more discomfort in your lead shoulder, which is why you have shoulder pain in your backswing. So you can see why one thing could potentially lead to another, and you can see why that downward spiral could happen when it comes to some of this stuff in the golf swing. The golf swing is a very dynamic motion. If we're not treating it that way and we're treating it just in silos, then it becomes really hard to have that translate to actual performance when you're on the course, right? So I think the big thing we want to emphasize moving forward, and it's something that we've talked about until we're blue in the face and we'll continue to do moving forward, is that we want to know why things are happening the way they're happening. And if we're not assessing that, if we're not assessing the body first and foremost, then all the other stuff is just kind of ancillary, right? So again, the three main topics that we talk about and we cover with all of our golfers is, what are they doing, right? Looking at video, 3D motion capture if we have available to us. How are they doing it? Where's their pressures? Where are they generating their force? What their power looks like? And then why might they do it a certain way? What does your physical screen show us that tells us why you're swinging the way you're swinging, and why some of these swing faults are very, very apparent when we look at your video or your 3D motion capture, okay? So I think I'm really excited moving forward to kind of get an idea as to how we can best help you play without limitations, because that's our goal. Our goal is to help you play pain-free, to enjoy the process, because sometimes this can be frustrating, right? And at the end of the day, we're here to have fun, right? The majority of the people that are listening to the show aren't being paid to play golf professionally. And if you are, reach out to us. Maybe that's a different conversation we need to have. But ultimately, we're playing the golf game because we love it. We enjoy it. We love the process. We love the shots that we hit that are really, really good. And so we want more of that, right? When we want to do that without limitations, and ultimately our body becomes a priority to really make sure we emphasize that as we get into the golf season. So I think what we want to do moving forward with this podcast is utilize it and leverage it to show you guys how well you can use your body to your advantage. And if we can do that and show you the reasons why your body can be the resource that you're looking for, and why you might not necessarily need to invest in all these other things that are ancillary to your game, have your body be the priority. If you make your body the priority, I guarantee your golf game is going to improve significantly, and let us show you how that's going to happen. So moving forward with this podcast, we're going to do quick hitters like the ones we're doing here today. We're also going to have special guests, performance coaches, swing coaches, people that are in the golf space that are, putting out products, things that can help you play your best golf yet. And those are the things that we're going to kind of look and highlight moving forward, so that if you want to invest in any of that stuff, we want to make sure we can kind of bring that to you. So we are really looking forward to season 2 of this now rebranded Man of Golf Performance podcast. We can't wait to deliver more information and content for you guys. We're also going to put these videos up. I know we talked about it in the past, but we're actually doing it. We're going to put these videos up that we record and put this podcast up on YouTube, so that way more people can be exposed to what we're trying to provide to the community and provide to the general public, so that they understand maybe it's not the clubs that I need to kind of invest in. Maybe it's just the body that I need to invest in to help me play without limitations. So we hope you enjoy the now rebranded podcast. We're looking forward to providing you the same type of content to help you play pain-free, to help you play your best, but also to have fun during the process. We'll talk to you guys on the next episode. All right, thanks so much for watching this week's episode of the Man of Golf Performance Podcast. If you have any questions or comments about what we discussed, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. But also, too, moving forward, if there's anything you want us to cover, please let us know so that we can get that on the podcast, okay? So if you are looking to gear up for the golf season, we have a great partnership with our friends at Under Armour. If you go to underarmour.com and use the promo code RUSSWINTER23, RUSSWINTER23, it gets you 20% off any of the gear on the website. That offer is only valid until March 31st of this year, all right? So if you are looking to gear up for the best golf gear in the game, Under Armour is the place to be. So make sure you use promo code RUSSWINTER23, and I'll get you 20% off any of the gear that you're looking for on the website. We'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new to this channel so we can help you play without limitations.